My name's Jon Paulson. Grew up in Mondovi, Wisconsin. My family all loved music. Started playing when I was in about the 3rd grade. I got my first guitar, and then started writing stuff when I was in high school. Got a chance to go play with a friend of mine. Then we joined with 2 friends of mine up here and started playing in a band called Blue Roan, and played around for quite a long time. I grew up in the country. We had a horse farm. Right across the road there was a meadow. Jumped the fence and walked through the meadow and right down to the Buffalo River. So we ice skated there when I was a kid. We played in the water in the summertime, and so it was always a big part of my life. I picked up some magazines. I just happened to see them in a grocery store or someplace, and I looked at this particular one and I said, it's something I have to do. I just have to get into this. And I didn't do that until I was much older. It's an interesting hobby. If you don't know how to do any carpentry, you have to learn how to do that. You know, you have to do the electronics part of it. You have to lay all the track. You have to wire everything in so the trains run, and there's a lot to it. What I started when I moved here, because I built different layouts in different homes that we lived in, and when I got here, I thought, I'm going to do a little something, but I think I'm going to do the Mondovi Yard, which is in Buffalo County. But the Buffalo River ran right alongside it and then turned and went down through the valley past where I grew up and on down to the Mississippi. This picture here was on the top, was taken from the top of the engine house. So it showed a pickle station in the background, and then you can see a barn that's way off in the distance. And then the turntable came in and went over here into the, so you can see the part of the turntable right here. So as if it was taken right from the top of that. But that's the way the depot looked at one time. But, you know, everything else is gone. Now it's a trucking company that's based down there where the railroad was. The model railroad thing now, Jan and I go to shows with our own stuff, and we have lots of friends that all do that. So it really is a pretty tight community that way, like it can be with music too. I was probably 23 when I wrote the song. Whenever I've written, I've continued to try to bring in some of those ideas of what's right around me. And with this song, I just sat and wrote it down. I was playing, and then the tune just came out of nowhere, and it's not something that I can really put my finger on, but it hasn't really changed much for me. I still play it the way I wrote it, and it still means a lot to me. I think it always will. But why it never got recorded, I'm not really sure, you know, and so I just kind of let it go. And then every so often, somebody says, what are you waiting for? You got to record that song, you know, and still haven't. But I'm still so young that I think, you know, I can do it anytime.
Buffalo River took me away. As a kid I went down there to play a role I didn't know. I spent my whole life on our land. There's still things I don't understand, but that was so long ago. Buffalo River still flows along. Hear it whispered in my song. A million stories told in rhyme. Where do you come from? Where do you go? Down the Mississippi to Mexico. Oh, take me along this time. My grandpa played the violin, but I never got to play with him too early. He met his fate. My grandma loves San Antonio Rose, but I never learned the words of those old songs. Now it's too late. The Buffalo River still flows along. Hear it whispered in my song. A million stories told in rhyme. Where do you come from? Where do you go? Down the Mississippi to Mexico. Oh, take me along this time. As a child, my horse I'd bet, I'd sit and dream, and I'd daydream yet. I guess some things will always be what I'd give to go back down and see those things as I see now. But memories are all I see. The Buffalo River still flows along. Hear it whispered in my song. A million stories told in rhyme. Where do you come from? Where do you go? Down the Mississippi to Mexico. Oh, take me along this time. Oh, take me along this time.